I have the plug too if you need power. Okay, this is the second league game of the year, or regular season league game at Maine in Niles. Looks like Connor McCabe will be in net. Starting out will be Nicholson at the dot. To his right, Wernick. To his left, Kaiser. Defense will be Donald and Neal. Only one rough. Nicholson, back to Donald, over to Neal. Neal up to Kaiser. Kaiser cross ice to Wernick. Pass goal by Evanston, 13 seconds into the game. Kaiser to Wernick to Nicholson. Same 5 out. Down on the Neal side. Nicholson comes back. Donald in front. Donald in the corner. Donald up to Kaiser. Kaiser kicks it in on net. Now it'll be Alvarez at the dot. Ostwick to his left, Lee to his right. Miller and Friese on D. Alvarez towards Friese. Friese gets it in deep. Alvarez with pressure. Lee behind the net. Alvarez comes over to the corner. Backed up by Bostwick. Lee intercepts. Miller. Bostwick is pressured. Puck is by Miller. Frizy knocks it up towards Alvarez. Alvarez along the boards, backed up by Frizy. Frizy kicks it for him. Frizy. Alvarez in the corner. Puck switch to center. Miller. To Bostwick. Bostwick shot. Nicholson. Nicholson in the corner, changes direction. Bostwick comes in, backs him up. Donald comes up. Frizy back on the knee. Frizy knocks the puck away. Frizy gathers behind, passes it up to Wernick. Wernick to Nicholson. Nicholson. It comes around to Neal. Neal in deep, centers. Pressure by Donald. Kaiser at the red. Kaiser in the neutral zone. Kaiser drop pass to Nicholson. Nicholson back to Kaiser behind the net. Wernick and pressure in the corner. Neal keeps it in. Gets it back in the corner. Wernick on the forecheck. Helped out by Kaiser. Wernick gathers. Wernick centered the pass. Neal. Knocked away by McCabe. Donald goes over the board. Nicholson. Neal behind the net. Kaiser. Wernick. Wernick at the red line, dumps it in. Evanston changes up. Alvarez with pressure. Miller. By Miller. Passed up by McCabe. Alvarez, Veland, Lee up front. Frizy and Miller on D. Two kids didn't have neck guards on. Frizy on the boards. Racing. Same five on the net, on the ice. Miller. Icing waved off. Frizy. Frizy backhands it towards Lee. Frizy knocks the puck away. Miller behind the net. To Veland. Veland out of the zone. Veland to Lee. Alvarez. Pressure. Veland now. Veland behind the net. Gets a shot off. Puck comes out to Miller. Shot blocked. Alvarez with the shot. Neal and Donald on D. Nicholson, Kaiser, and Wernick up front. Kaiser will be taking the face-off. Kaiser to Nicholson. Nicholson shot. Gloved. Joel, you really jump in here. Donald. Nicholson goes back to retrieve. Self-pass to the opposite corner. Neal up the boards. Kaiser and Nicholson battle with Neal backing up. Kaiser center ice. Kaiser shot. Same five stay on the ice. Kaiser wins the face-off back to Neal. Over to Donald. Shot up Wernick with the tip. Kaiser then. Nicholson. Kaiser now. Kaiser. Wernick in the corner. Pops out to Nicholson. Nicholson's pass deflected by Kaiser. On net. Evanston changes up. Will be Alvarez, Lee, and Bostwick up front. Miller and Frizy on D. Alvarez kicked out of the dot. Lee replaces him. Lee wins it over to Bostwick. Rising. Outside to Bostwick. Lee. Rising. Lee. Lee. Miller. Glove. Same five stay on the ice. Alvarez over to Bostwick. Bostwick gets it in deep. Wraps around to the opposite corner. Lee goes in. Lee backed up by Alvarez. Frizy comes in. Lee win the forecheck. Alvarez keeps the puck in. Lee pops out to Frizy. Frizy up to Lee. Frizy. Bostwick blocks the shot. Bostwick forces him to wrap around. Then Frizy retrieves, backhands it to Miller. Miller up out of the zone. Maine to red. Maine dumps. Frizy throws it in. Evanston changes up. Donald and Neal and D. Wernick, Nicholson, and Kaiser. Nicholson this time at center. Donald comes out with it. Over to Neal in the corner. Eli up to Wernick. Kaiser. Kaiser centering pass to Nicholson. Kaiser retrieves to Neal. Neal over to Wernick. Wernick to Kaiser. Kaiser shot. Save. Same five stay on the ice. Kaiser at the dot. Nicholson. Neal. Neal keeps it in to Nicholson. Nicholson to center ice. Wernick. Maine brings it out. Nicholson on D. Goes down Neal's side. Donald's corner. Wernick kicks it out. Wernick on forecheck. Wernick passes Kaiser. Kaiser with pressure. Neal keeps it in. Shot. Save. Evanston changes up. This time Velan, Alvarez, and Lee up front. Lee. Velan. Velan in the corner. That comes out to Miller. Miller dumps it in. Evanston tags up. Alvarez, then Velan, Miller. Same five stay on the ice. Velan. Back to Miller. Velan. Left side. Same five. Lee with pressure. Comes down Frizy. Frizy backhands it around the Miller. Miller loses in the corner. Frizy. Saved by McCabe. Lee. Frizy knocks man off the puck. Alvarez. Frizy and Alvarez. Alvarez now. Frizy. Miller. Miller. Alvarez, shot. Oh. Donald. Alvarez with pressure. Donald. Kaiser. Donald gets back. And changes direction. Alvarez. Saved by McCabe. Kaiser. Down the ice. Icing. Donald and Neal on D. Nicholson, Kaiser, and Wernick up front. Nicholson taking the face off. Nicholson. Cross ice to Kaiser. Kaiser in the corner. Back to Neal at the point. Neal across to Donald. Donald shot. Attempted tip by Nicholson. Kaiser along the boards. Over to Donald. Donald shot in to Kaiser. Kaiser shot. Goal of 3:18 by Kaiser. Same five stay on the ice. Nicholson taking the face off. Nicholson over to Neal. Neal up to Wernick. No icing. Warnick in the forecheck. Kaiser cuts off the wraparound. Nicholson comes in. Kaiser in the corner with Nicholson. Nicholson and Warnick converge. Puck kept in by Neal. Neal stays with it. Puck comes down Kaiser's side. Kaiser knocks it away. Offside. Alvarez, Lee, and Bostwick up front. Miller and Friese on D. Lee comes out with it. Titus in the corner. Miller tips. Friese on D, forces him wide. Pass out to Lee. Titus. Offside. Same 5 stay on the ice. Comes out on Fries' side. Fries kicks it. Stays with it along the boards. Knocks in the corner where Alvarez goes. Fries comes out. Alvarez with pressure. Bostwick now with pressure. Forces the errant shot. Lee and Alvarez. Backed up by Friese. Friese, Bostwick. Bostwick. Warnick. Tripping penalty. Tripping penalty on Maine with 57 seconds left in the first period. Neal and Donald on D. Kaiser, Nicholson, and Warnick up front. Kaiser at the dot. Kaiser to Nicholson. Pass to Donald, comes out. Donald to Nicholson. Nicholson over to Warnick. Warnick comes to deep. Nicholson with the forecheck. Kaiser gets in and dumps it behind the net. Warnick then. Warnick blocks the clearing attempt. Donald back to Neal. Nicholson. Nicholson over to Warnick. Kaiser. Warnick. Warnick shot. Throw to the boards. Neal goes and retrieves. Neal gets it deep to Warnick. Warnick shot. Another shot. End of the first period. Evanston still has 1:02 left on the power play. Okay, 1:02 left on the Evanston power play. McCabe's still in net. Nicholson, Wernick, Kaiser up front. Neal and Donald on D. Nicholson took the face off back to Donald. Donald up, Wernick tips it in. Wernick intercepts the clearing attempt. Nicholson. Kaiser again. Kaiser and Nicholson in the corner. Puck comes out to Donald. Nicholson at the seat, has got on Eli's side. Puck out, clear. Wernick. Donald. Wernick. Kaiser shot. Wrapped around Donald. Maine's penalty has elapsed. Eli Neal knocks it away. Alvarez hook. Donald now. Donald in the corner. Alvarez. Neal. Donald and Neal. Lee gets it out of his zone. Kaiser. Changes. Lee is down the forecheck. Lee on the puck. Lee with pressure. Alvarez comes in to help. Alvarez retrieves. Centering pass towards Veland. Flex off Veland to Frizy. Frizy to Miller. Back to Frizy. Frizy up to Lee. Icing. Frizy and Miller stay on D. Alvarez, Veland, and Lee stay up front. Alvarez towards Frizy. Frizy tips it to the blue. Puck in the corner. Veland gets chased. Miller. Miller in the corner. Back to Veland. Veland shot. Puck into the corner. Veland in the far corner. Veland shoves it behind the net. Miller goes back to retrieve. Veland gets it out of the zone. Puck tipped by Wernick. Frizy. Covered up by McCabe. Evanston changes up. Wernick, Nicholson, Kaiser up front. Nicholson took the face off. Neal and Donald and D. Neal knocks it down. Puck goes down. Nicholson wins the race. Wernick now with pressure behind the net. Kaiser, Wernick. Donald. Neal comes over. Tosses it out of the zone. Neal. Up to Kaiser. Kaiser up to Wernick. Wernick over to Nicholson. Blocker side save. Kaiser to Wernick. Centering attempt to Nicholson. Nicholson throws it in deep. Kaiser goes to retrieve. Wernick in the corner. Kaiser stays. Neal. Nicholson. Nicholson backhander to Kaiser. Kaiser. Nicholson. Neal. Neal puts it in the corner to Nicholson. Nicholson. Wernick. Wernick backhands in the far corner. Nicholson retrieves. Nicholson centers. Wernick. Shot. Kaiser puts it in deep to Nicholson. Nicholson. Kaiser. Kaiser to Nicholson. Nicholson centering attempt to lead. Comes out to Neal. Great shift by Evanston staying in the O-zone. Lee stays out there with Alvarez and Bostwick up front. Miller and Frizy on D. Lee. Up comes out to Miller. Miller's shot. Bostwick in the corner. Back to Frizy. Joe locks him up. Puck goes cross ice. Miller up to Bostwick. Puck dumped in by Maine. Frizy. Frizy to Miller. Miller back to Frizy. Miller, Frizy. Lee. Back to Frizy. Bostwick. It goes back to Frizy. Frizy off the glass into the zone. Evanston changes up. Donnell and Neal on D. Nicholson, Wernick, and Kaiser up front. Nicholson at the dot. Nicholson wins it over to Donnell. Donnell in the corner, Nicholson. Wernick. Wernick up to Kaiser. Nicholson. Maine dumps deep. Neal goes back. Donnell. Cross ice, icing. Same five stay on the ice with Nicholson taking the face off. Donnell. Donnell along the boards up to Wernick. Pressure, Donnell. Goes back to McCabe. Same five. Nicholson over to Donnell. Donnell throws it to the blue line. Shot wide, comes out to Neal. Neal shoots it forward to Kaiser. Nicholson. Kaiser over to Wernick. Wernick enters the O-zone. Wernick shot. Bucket behind the net. Leland comes down to the corner. Leland backed up by Nicholson. Pops out. Wernick with pressure on the puck carrier. Icing waved off. Donald off the glass and out of the zone. Nicholson. Nicholson centers. Lee. Puck comes down the other side. O'Donnell. Leland. Quite get it out of the zone. Maine dumps deep. Donald. To Lee. Over to B. Tips it into the corner. Lee. Miller to Frizy. Frizy to Beelan. Beelan to Lee. Alvarez. Lee. Back in. Looks like Lee's goal at 4:15 seconds. Miller and Frizy on D. Wernick, Nicholson, and Kaiser up front. Nicholson at the dot. Wernick comes out with it. Kaiser, shot. Kaiser retrieves the rebound. Nicholson. Kaiser. Miller. To Nicholson. Wernick behind the net, centers it to Kaiser. Kaiser with forecheck. Now Wernick steps up. Nicholson comes over. Puck coming down the other side. Nicholson. Dump pass for Kaiser. Kaiser across to Frizy. Frizy steps in the slot. Nicholson. Oh. Cleared by Maine. Icing. Eli Neal and Isaiah Donald on D. Alvarez, Bostwick, and Lee up front. Lee. Bostwick. Neal kicks the puck away. Donald. Lee dumps and chases. Lee controls behind the net, passes out to Bostwick. Neal. Over to Donald. Alvarez out of the zone. Lee. Knocks the puck away. Back on it, Alvarez. Lee. It's out of play in the protected net. Nicholson, Kaiser, and Wernick up front. Miller and Frizey on D. Nicholson will take the face off. Nicholson wins it over to Wernick. Frizey. Up to Nicholson. Backed up by Wernick. Wernick comes out in the corner. Wernick challenges along the boards, backed up by Nicholson. And Kaiser. Frizey comes out with it, shot. Kaiser was pressured by Nicholson. Nicholson takes the puck. Nicholson up to Kaiser. Kaiser, shot saved. Roughing penalty on Caleb Nicholson at 1:29 in the second period. PK will be Kaiser, Wernick, Frizey, and Miller. Kaiser at the dot. Miller deflects. Frizey comes out. Frizey clears the zone off the glass. All the way down. Wernick with the forecheck. Wernick the pressure behind the net. Wernick still. Frizey. Back in the zone. Miller tips it up. Wernick with pressure. And Miller. Saved by McCabe. Kaiser. Kaiser. Kaiser draws the penalty. Penalty on Maine with 22 seconds left in the second period. Looks like a hold. So 53 seconds of 4-on-4. A minute 7 in power play. Alvarez, Veland, Neal, and Donnell on the ice. Veland chases. It's possession. Back to Neal. Neal to Veland. Okay. Alvarez, Veland, Neal, and Donald out there. 20. Neal. It's out of the zone to Veland. Veland. Centers it. Cross ice. Alvarez. Veland comes over. Alvarez back to Donald. Right, 3 seconds left in the Evanston penalty. And Evanston will have 1:07 on the power play. Alvarez. Nicholson. Neal. Neal to Kaiser. Kaiser over to Nicholson. Nicholson back to Kaiser. Kaiser's shot deflected behind the net. Wernick throws it back there. Nicholson cleared by Maine. Donald cross ice to Nicholson. Kaiser. Kaiser, Nicholson. Nicholson shot off the blocker. Wernick with pressure. Miller. Miller's shot blocked. Wernick blocked the clearance and the puck comes out. Both teams at even strength. Donald wraps it around to Miller. Donald not scored. Shot blocked by Nicholson. Miller up to Kaiser. Nicholson in the corner, Bostwick. Nicholson. Nicholson's pass, goal. Nicholson to Wernick for the goal at 11:31. Lee, Bostwick, and Alvarez up front, Frizy and Miller on D. Bostwick, Alvarez, Miller, Alvarez, Frizy, Alvarez, the pressure, Bostwick, the pressure, shot kicked away by McCabe. Frizy collects. Frizy and Alvarez in the corner. Frizy shoots it up to the point. Covered up by McCabe. Same 5 stay on the ice. Alvarez brings it over to Frizy. Frizy and Alvarez battle on the backboards. Clear by Bostwick. Miller knocks it away. Alvarez. Bostwick. Frizy. Ooh. Alvarez. Lastwick gets it out of the zone. Icing's waved off as it was tipped by Maine. Lastwick on the forecheck. Cross ice to Neal. Neal up the boards to Bostwick. Nicholson with pressure. Nicholson knocks it away. Nicholson's shot saved. Kaiser comes in. Nicholson, Wernick, Neal, back to Donald. Kaiser. Kaiser centers it. Wernick. Wernick along the boards. Centers it to Nicholson. Nicholson shot. Glove by Maine. Same five stay on the ice for the faceoff. Kaiser at the dot. Kaiser wins it back to Nicholson. Nicholson shot. Swallowed up. Kaiser will again take the faceoff. Kaiser back to Nicholson. Nicholson reverses. Cleared by Maine. Neal goes back to retrieve. Neal tips it up to Donald. Donald retrieves in the corner. Nicholson. Nicholson cross ice to Kaiser. Wernick also. Wernick keeps up the pressure and keeps him in that zone. Wernick to Nicholson. Nicholson shot to Kaiser. Kaiser stick handles around. Back to Nicholson. Maine. Nicholson with pressure. Nicholson knocks the puck away. Maine puts it deep. Donald retrieves. Donald skates it out. Miller. Kaiser. Alvarez. Alvarez takes the puck away. Cross ice to Wernick. Wernick jumps in the near corner. Alvarez with pressure. Lee. The Alvarez, Phelan, Lee up front, Pricey and Miller on D. Miller. Phelan in pursuit. B. Alvarez reaches, knocks the puck away, Lee comes up with it. Lee in his zone. Titus centers to Phelan. Alvarez stops the clearing attempt. Puck comes down. Pricey knocks the puck away to the boards. Pricey comes up with it. Shot goes to the board backwards. Back to post. Pricey skates it out. Throws it in deep. Neal side. Nicholson goes to the corner. Caleb. Nicholson dumps it in. Kaiser behind the net. Kaiser. Shot off the button. Kaiser goal with 5:47 left in the third. Kaiser, Wernick, and Nicholson stay out. Nicholson at the dots. Donald and Eli Neal and D. Back to Donald, Neal, up to Kaiser. Kaiser. Shot by Nicholson. Backhand by Wernick. Same five will stay out for Evanston. Neal. Nice pass goes to Wernick. Donald. Donald shot. It's knocked down. Wernick. Centers it to Kaiser. Kaiser. Surveys. Kaiser to Wernick. Donald. Neal. Wernick. Wernick goal. Wernick goal with about 4:30 left on the running clock. Miller and Frizy on D, Alvarez, Bostwick, and Titus Lee up front. Alvarez knocks the puck away from him. Miller goes back. Frizy knocks it away. Miller. That's it. Pass it. Alvarez. Frizy. Bostwick. Frizy to lead. Miller. Bostwick. Bostwick clears. Alvarez gives chase. Alvarez, covered by McCabe. Nicholson. Wernick comes out with it. Wernick. Centering to Kaiser. Nicholson. Wernick. Nicholson. McCabe. Blocker save. Kaiser up to Wernick. Back to Neal. Kept in the zone by Maine. Wernick with pressure. Neal. Nicholson now. Nicholson in the corner, backed up by Neal. Nicholson comes out with it. Donald, up to Wernick. Ice. In the game, it'll be Dylan, Alvarez, Lee, Miller, and Frizy. Okay, with the save. Alvarez knocks the puck away. And that was it. Lee. Veland. Alvarez and Veland along the boards. Miller comes up.